After 1.5 hours with Jean-Claude Juncker, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's a little bit like, you wanted to convince somebody, for one night stand for 1 year, and then it was not quite exciting. A little bit like that. We expected him to be pretty evasive. Basically said he has shortage of memories about past events, he was not involved with the specifics, everybody has done this, and so on. Sometimes he had to smile himself, so we quite know that he's no innocent guy there. We know that he was the prime architect of the Luxembourg tax haven. And then he alluded to the fact that the European Commission would have presented a lot of proposals, but the devil lies in the details. They talked about the tax haven blacklist, for example. But look at this blacklist. If you have a 0% corporation tax, you don't end up on the list automatically. So nobody can even explain to a 5-year-old child why you would be no tax haven if you basically don't demand any taxes from a corporation. Apparently Juncker can. So I think the issues are still there, and it shows a little bit the arrogance of power, maybe.
And as the Prime Minister and Finance Minister of Luxembourg for 18 years, until he took up this position, and we know Luxembourg is one of the most famous tax havens inside the EU, and it's his job to clamp down on loopholes. Has anything changed?
Things have changed, but we have new loopholes. And in every initiative, basically, that is being discussed, governments from states like Luxembourg will ensure that there are new loopholes. So the whole industry is built about gaming, basically, law. And you can only stop to game law if you're really determined, basically, to make a very simple but forceful legislation. And these guys there, including Mr. Juncker, will always, find small loopholes to basically appear in front of the press and say, we're doing our job. And it's a little bit, it reminded me of maybe when I was in school and the teacher asked me whether I've done my homework, and I showed them a lot of paper, where I was writing on. But if you looked at it, the math was all wrong. And this is exactly what Mr. Juncker did. He said, look, I did my homework, but the math is all wrong. And it's robbing average EU citizens for like 1 trillion euros a year that we lose due to tax avoidance, tax evasion, while people suffer from cutbacks in schooling, in housing, in health. And austerity is basically, providing for a big depression all across Europe. Young people that every second in Greece and other countries are unemployed. And it's a scandal. It's blunt robbery what is happening, and Mr. Juncker is surely complicit in it.